12 News Eye on Agriculture with Britton Rucker.
Coming up, thousands of farmers protest in Australia challenging government policies they say are damaging their businesses. Find out why this protest is sparking national attention. And sugarcane aphids taking hold of the Kansas crop. We'll talk with an expert on the damage they do and how to get rid of them. Good evening and welcome to Eye on Agriculture. I'm Britton Rucker. Kansas saw a very dry stretch of weather this week. A great way to close out the Kansas State Fair. Not so helpful, though, in our continuing drought situation. For the latest, let's head over to meteorologist Haylen Wilhite.
Yeah, definitely not been seeing the best conditions across the state. Latest drought map now bumped up another % when it comes to drought across the state, but also too we bumped up in 1% with that severe drought. Still the worst of it is in parts of south central Kansas. You know, we all know Cheney Lake needing some rainfall desperately, but also two parts of north central Kansas seeing some of that severe drought as well. And we are still going to try to expect to see some rain across the state as we head into the evening hours tonight, and maybe some better chances over the next several days. Really by the middle of the week, we could start to see some more isolated chances. Again, isolated, not a whole lot of rain, but we may start to see a big pattern change over the next few days, even as we head into late this week. Could see a big system moving in that could bring in a better chance for some more widespread rainfall, but be sure to stay up to date with that, and we'll be sure to bring you the latest.
Thank you, Haylen. From drought to flooding, farms in Minnesota getting too much of a good thing. Now they're faced with catastrophic damage to their crops. John Lauritsen has the latest.
Way too much of a good thing is just that, too much of a good thing.
Owen Golke made that statement back in June. Nearly 3 months later, he's saying the same thing.
There was water here till about August 1st. So, I mean, the water didn't completely go away till August 1st. We have not had a year like this.
It started when consistent early summer rainfalls turned some of his fields into lakes. One cornfield near Belle Plaine was hit especially hard.
Not just a pond. I mean, this I would call a pond, but in the middle out there would actually be a lake.
The lake is finally gone, but it left behind a vast, barren area where corn should be. Instead, the only thing growing are weeds. Golke estimates he's lost about 18% of his corn crop this year. To put that in perspective, he only lost about 5% during the past couple dry summers. The average yearly rainfall for this field is 25 inches, but it's already over 40 inches. Anything that tried to grow close to the temporary lake also came up short.
That's quite the contrast, but it's something that, you know, we as farmers are used to seeing.
Crop insurance will help with some of the loss, but not all of it. As he prepares for the upcoming harvest, all Golke can do is hope for the best. He's come to the conclusion that a slightly drier growing season is better than an excessively wet one.
They might look nice and green, but I've walked in enough fields and looked at them. You know, it just was too much water. And that, like I said earlier, you know, too much of a good thing is just that. It's too much.
In Sibley County, John Lauritsen, WCCO News.
Now, thousands of farmers from Australia held a protest on Tuesday against government farming policies they say were influenced by environmental and animal welfare activists, which were harming their livelihoods. Australia is one of the world's biggest agricultural exporters, and farmers nationwide are increasingly angry with the center-left Labor government that has sought to ban exports on live sheep, restrict water use, and accelerate construction on renewable power and transmission in rural areas. The National Farmers Federation says more than 2,000 people attended what was the first nationwide rally of farmers in the capital since the 1980s. Will Croker, a farmer protesting there, says he's not happy with the restrictions.
So I'm here today because I'm not happy with there is, under this government, there's no future in agriculture in Australia. They've been tightening the grip around our industry for probably 30 years now. The middlemen are taking all the money out of it. There's less and less coming back to the farm gate. There's legislation made by uninformed politicians, forced by the pressure put on them from animal activist groups.
Now, the protest is part of a wave of unrest in Europe and elsewhere aimed at governments imposing environmental regulation that farmers say burdens them with red tape and higher costs, as well as limiting their ability to farm. All right, check this out.
Absolutely not. Arms forward. If you'd like, you can bring the forehead forward.
As the Kansas State Fair wraps up today, we are taking a look back at one of the most popular events featuring agriculture in a fun and unique way. Now, this was goat yoga out at the Kansas State Fair. Participants got a chance to get some exercise as well as making some new furry friends. Instructors made sure to tell participants to check for any droppings on the floor before laying down. Still to come on Ion Agriculture, a groundbreaking celebration in Iowa as a cannabis company pioneers hemp and home building. We'll go inside the green revolution and see how they're growing their business when Ion Agriculture continues.